Sources say President Trump's national security advisor, a man named Mike Waltz, is leaving his post in the wake of a high-profile scandal that involved the leaking of classified information on a popular social media communications platform known as Signal. This is the first big shakeup in Donald Trump's inner circle since he returned to power in January. Mike Waltz, a former congressman, caught up in that scandal surrounding that chat that involved top national security aides, but somehow a journalist with The Atlantic was included and was party to some of the communications involving U.S. military operations in the Middle East. For weeks, there has been speculation that it was only a matter of time before Mike Waltz would be pushed out. Let's bring in our Washington bureau chief, Joy Malbon, who is standing by with more here. Joy, so what do we know and what don't we know?
Well, I think you said it. We don't know exactly, but it's been reported through several sources, to ABC, to Fox News, that Mike Waltz, the national security advisor, is out. He was noticeably absent, Todd, yesterday at Donald Trump's cabinet meeting. And when Donald Trump gave that big rally speech in Michigan, he was allegedly supposed to travel with the president, but he was left standing on the tarmac, according to people who were there. The president said at the time, back in March, that he still had confidence that Mike Waltz had, quote, learned his lesson when this journalist was accidentally, as Waltz said, added to his Signal chat about military strikes in Yemen. Now, Mike Waltz, a Florida congressman, has had the confidence of the president down here, but it's really not a shock that he would be let go. Now, Trump has crossed that threshold of 100 days. He has filled his cabinet with loyalists, not generals and people from past administrations. So letting him go isn't as quite a shock as we saw in first-term Trump when Mike Flynn was let go as one of his military advisors after just a matter of days over meeting with the Russians. I'm just going to read you one quote. Tammy Bruce, who is the State Department spokesperson, said, and I think you can read into this, she said, "I don't want to get ahead of what the president may or may not say today." So there you have it.
We know that Pete Hegseth, the defense secretary, seems to be okay. He was also part of this scandal. But for our viewers across the country, Joy, can you give us just a sense of why this was such a big scandal? Why the stakes were so high and what happened here?
Well, look, this is the military. This is the biggest department, and the knock against Pete Hegseth was this is a guy who was on Fox News. He was a host, and that he, even though he served in the military, he didn't have the leadership skills, according to many of his critics. Signal is something you and I can chat on, Todd, right now, and to accidentally add a journalist, as Mike Waltz did. I mean, Mike Waltz went on TV, went on Fox and said, "I accept full responsibility." So, I mean, you know, it's really up to the president to decide to cut him loose. But, you know, you've kind of seen the writing on the wall with him. But as for Pete Hegseth, he's got 2 strikes against him. He was on a Signal chat that was shared with his wife most recently and his personal lawyer and a few other people. He also set up his own personal computer in the Pentagon and added the Signal chat there. And it's considered, not secure. And as many critics have said, look, the Russians are listening, the Chinese are listening. This is not a good thing. I did find it very interesting in a previous cabinet meeting that President Trump introduced Pete Hegseth, who sits to his left, as, "Let me introduce you to my least controversial cabinet pick." Yeah, a little bit of a dig there. So, I mean, if there's one more strike, I'm not sure. Certainly, critics say he may not be long for President Trump's cabinet.
Our Washington bureau chief, Joy Malbon, with this breaking news we're following closely. Good to see you, Joy, as always. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, let's